sounding bassy because I'm backstage and I'm with the incredible Bad Bitches. I am with the awesome Dream Wife. How you doing, ladies? Backstage, Kendal Calling, having a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a while since we caught up. The album wasn't even out. I think, was it the day you announced that you signed to Lucky Number? It was a long time ago.
Oh, that is
a long time. It was like in Brighton, everyone was having a good time.
That was a great day.
I know. I mean, the first time I saw you live was at Iceland Airwaves, wasn't it? All those years ago. Look at the journey. Album out, recording new material. I've heard rumbles. Is that right?
We're writing.
Writing.
Yeah,
we've been writing. We haven't recorded yet.
But we're going to be playing a few new songs today.
Oh, I'm not going anywhere, by the way. I'm set, I'm here, I am ready. I am ready
here
for
the rock
it.
show.
Yeah, well, we've been waiting. I mean, I've watched. It's really nice when you know, passionate about somebody and you've seen them just absolutely smash it. I mean, your live sets, you've got, and the thing about you is so many other artists look up to you and bounce off you and aspire to be what you're doing, which is absolutely incredible. You are inspiring to other artists.
Those are big words.
No.
Yeah. I feel blown away by these
do you not
statements.
realise this? Do you not see it?
I think for us, like engaging with other people involved in the same field as us in that conversation, be that like people that just want to get into music or people that are already in music, I think flying that flag for us is really important. But it's also a thing where I think it's like quite an instinctive, natural way for us to be as a band. I think it's like, I don't know, it's kind of weird to hear it like that.
Well, I think sometimes it's just good that you need to know. You need to know that you are making a difference to other people, especially to women in music as well, because obviously, you know, it's not easy. And it's really good to have champions there pushing things forward and actually allowing people to open up and talk about things more and be more open about the issues that they have in their journey in the music industry. So I'm talking a lot. I want to hear from you.
Yeah.
What are the most inspiring things that you have experienced in your journey so far?
Well, last year I think we sort of took it to heart, wanting to more engage with our audiences and people that were interested in music, and we did this open call where we asked for non-binary and femme artists to apply to be a support act, and it was for, I think it was like a 3-month-long tour around the UK, US, and Europe. And in 1 week, we got about 450 responses just through putting out on our socials. So I think that's maybe was a bit like, oh, wow. And then we started going through all this like applications in a sense, but their music and their stories were so interesting.
Mm.
And I think that really became an understanding of why we're doing this. And it's so good to leave your little mindset of your crew and your shows and that kind of idea and expand it to open up a conversation with others in their local scene.
Yeah.
And basically what we did before our UK tour as well, we did an addition to, we had support acts that we picked in every city. So US, UK, Europe, it was like a big tour. And then for the UK and the Dublin show, we did a like hour-long kind of pre-show meetup,
Right.
where we invited local people from the music scene.
Yeah, kind of people that were just interested in being involved or getting involved in the musical community in whatever capacity, non-binary, femme people that were just, I think, as Rakel said, with the amount of response we got from the open call for support acts, it was a very similar thing in like, you know, the conversations we were having at these meetups. It's like, yeah, these feelings exist, these conversations are there to be had, and it's like about like fostering a community and like linking that together, because it's like everyone's there saying very similar things, or like they could help each other, and it's like I think the like highlighting the visibility of that somehow for us felt really important. It was like amazing to see these conversations play out before our shows, kind of thing.
You're harnessing the people together and pulling those conversations together and kind of giving people a focal point. It's been so empowering
We
to
also
do that.
reached out to asking for people that were working in PR or promotion or radio or and asked them to join this session meetup, so you can also have them become part of what's the like basically connecting people that have just started a band wanting to get their foot in the door, they don't know how, and having someone like, oh hey, I put on club nights, if you want I can sort you out, and there's this funding they can apply for, and this and that, and to have that happen as a band that's not from there necessarily, and just are passing through this one night, but be able to sort of link people up together in a natural way. And also it was so nice after these meetups, when we were playing the show, often we would see this group of people who didn't know each other before, because it was it ranged between like 20 to up to 50 people at each of these. We tried to keep it quite small, and it was amazing seeing all of them together in the front, like having become friends. And I think that's one of the best compliments you could ever get, is like, I met my best friend at your show.
You brought people together.
That's a great compliment.
That was a really great feeling for sure.
How does it make you feel when you think maybe somebody's having a real hard time and listening to your album might be empowering them, and might be in a bad relationship? Like, obviously you're quite outspoken lyricist about relationships and things that are affecting you day to day in your life. How does that make you feel if people are resonating with that and it's helping them through a tough time?
I think for all of us at different points in our life, like, music's been there for us in that way, and like, you know, the fact we get to play so many shows now, it's like this special like gift in our lives that I think it's like to be able to share that with people in whatever capacity. That's a gift for us as well. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's not something we're thinking about like, oh, let's really like help someone through, but I think it's that thing of that kind of solidarity by proxy that music can share, and you can kind of share with others through these feelings, through these moments. It's kind of hard to encapsulate, but it's always a good feeling, I guess. But it's not like something specifically thought about, maybe, in that sense of, I don't know, it kind of just is there by its nature or something. I don't know how to explain that.
You do foster this massive like club welcome, like you feel like you have a family. Your fans feel, they feel like a proper family of hardcore people. I mean, you've mentioned
They feel like our family.
Yeah, exactly. But you're so visceral live as well, and I think that really brings the focal point together, because people want to see you live.
I think it's really understanding that people, like, that everyone's equal, you know? I think something that was really interesting, like, we always talked about like the band and the audience kind of being on the same level and kind of trying to blur those lines a bit somehow. But I think doing the meetups before the shows, it really kind of provided a space to kind of see eye to eye with people. And that, you know, it's like, as long as you're doing something and you're engaging wholeheartedly in something, it's like as valuable as any way of going about it, you know? It's like that everyone's equal in that space.
Did you take anything from it? Did you learn anything from the experience?
Of the meetups?
Yeah.
I mean, it's this massive, I think, you know, we're a part of this like massive cultural shift, you know? It's like meeting these teenagers, like, that have just got it so much more figured out in many ways than I do now, you know? And it's like, it's this kind of really like cyclical kind of everyone's learning together. You know, I think we will probably learn so much from those meetups in ways that like really profoundly touched me, in a way that took me by surprise.
Incredible.
And what about the artists? Because obviously you were picking the artists to come on tour with you as well.
They were
but you got some
also
new bezies as well now, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
we just got to experience, I think, also just what was happening in that town we were in too. To be able to speak to someone from that scene, and maybe someone that has struggled in that scene just because of their, you know, of their gender. I think it's so interesting to at least to have a conversation and to just understand it, because you're gone the next day. Touring is like one city, one day. It's a repetition of the same thing. And
it's such a transient way to live, and you can pass through so many places without experiencing it at all. And so the Open Call did like a real tap into the places we were playing in.
It felt like a way to share with that place and touch base with that place.
So you learn more about each scene.
Yeah.
So you probably, like, I hate to say it, but there's not a lot of that about. We've had a conversation actually between us today about different scene and different champions in each scene, and the important part for a local artist is trying to see what's happening and who can help them, you know, whether it's put them in touch with a promoter who might suggest where they'd fit on a support slot, or a blog that might be really supportive. And it's like hard for artists to actually kind of work out who can help them where they should be focusing their energy. So having somebody that's been through a bit of that, who can probably point them in a few directions, is really helpful, I think.
There was during this application format that we just asked a few questions, and one of them was, can you tell us about your local scene? And something that could be quite, I didn't really think much about it when we made this questionnaire,
But actually, that's where most of the interesting stories came from, and also the most heartbreaking stories.
Really?
Like there was one band. How they answered that question was that there were 5 promoters that were all guys, and they were all in different bands, and they pretty much just ran the venues.
Mm-hmm.
So when a band came through asking for a support act, they would put one of their bands on, and it was a very male-dominated scene, and for these kids that are non-binary and women, and just like to be able to not even get your foot in the door, and they had argued, and they had sort of been speaking to them, why can't you at least give us a chance? And they weren't, because they're just putting on their mates, and it was the same circulation. And they said even like when a band that is, say, femme fronted, when they came through the town, they still got a no, and they were like, we're basically just like, we can't even get a toe.
It's just,
and that just like was so heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that was awful.
I mean, there's so many good people trying to make changes like this. You know, both sides now working with the women and those that identify as women, like getting people like Beth Orton in a room. Like, I don't know if you've seen these programs where Gweno's done it as well, where they actually get in a room with female artists and those that identify as being female, and they make music, and it's really empowering, and you know, it's just really a passionate thing to be involved in. And then you've got people like Tony from Come Play With Me, who runs Her Fest and also releases 7-inch singles that might be an artist's first physical release, and he always puts calls out for, you know, non-binary, for those that identify as women, and just trying to be
it has to be in the local scene as well.
Shouted about, but it should be just normal. Do you know what I mean?
Especially for like smaller places like that, especially like that, you can. It's even harder almost than trying to get a show in London.
Yeah,
it's harder to get a show in your small town if there's nobody that's welcoming you.
And also, you don't want to be seen as that token artist. You want to be accepted for
This
your
is it.
talent. You are who you are.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter whether you're non-binary. It doesn't matter if you're female identifying, if you're trans. It's about the artist, isn't it? I mean, there's enough.
But this is why it's like it's kind of strange for us to get like all this kind of heavy praise in a way, because it's like, really, this is kind of the minimum, you know?
Yeah,
it's like, this is the minimum.
Well, it should be.
This is just how it should be.
In dominated scenes where, you know, all male bands are still dominated, I know of a case where I was told, I've not seen it for myself, that, there was a female trying to become a promoter, and she was told by a prominent music organisation that you're wasting your time, you shouldn't be a female promoter, you won't get anywhere. And it's like, what?
No, I think
each person is individual.
Any area, whether it's like tour managing or playing or any area of music, I think every single femme or non-binary experience that, unfortunately.
We have to work 3 times as hard. That's what the quote that I used
like
before.
behind the scenes is even harder.
Oh yeah, well, I think we have to work 3 times as hard to get the respect.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm sure everybody has a story where they've had to prove themselves or had to really deal with someone who's made their life very difficult. And I'm not saying that is a male; it could be a female as well, because there is a lot of, I don't know, just people trying to protect their little castles.
Exactly, just commenting.
We played Primavera the other day, and that was incredible, seeing how a festival I think it was an incredible experience for everyone.
With the 50-50 split.
50-50 split.
The new normal.
But you didn't, because we were very fortunate to have an extra day in between, so we got to see a bit more of the festival. And, you know, we were just walking around, seeing some amazing acts, like the most incredible lineup. And then, like, it wasn't until like, the next day that I realized that I had actually only seen femme artists. And I didn't
it wasn't
that.
deliberate, wasn't conscious, didn't
unconscious
notice it happen.
You know
It was just walking.
It was
with
just
your
you went to
friends.
all the good stuff.
And like walking with friends, I love this artist, I love this artist. And it wasn't until the next day I was like, wow, that's never happened before.
But then there are programs like PRS Key Change, which is obviously pushing for more
50-50.
festivals to get involved in 50-50 lineup.
We also noticed at Primavera, we noticed more of the crew were also women. And that was great, the monitor engineers. And we just noticed that as well. And it wasn't only showcasing the front, it was also
Makes a difference.
people that were working at the festival were also women. And that was great.
Well, I
see.
suppose
And
in
that's
some
a rarity.
ways that makes you maybe make a female artist feel more relaxed or more, I don't know, just more secure.
I think it's also
Less
just giving people these
tokenistic as well.
opportunities. As you said, like the person saying you won't get a job as a promoter because you're a woman. Like people that work behind the scenes, like especially in sound and TMing and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
you know, they get it's so difficult.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Your
this
foot in
shift
the
is
door.
important across
the whole scene.
the whole music industry and all of culture.
Yeah.
And it's like it's not just about like the front facing artist, you know, it's like it's about the full picture.
There's also a new organisation that I spotted last week that's been set up to help champion and support women in music production, which
Great.
obviously we've got people like Catherine Marks doing really, really well,
Yeah.
but we need more, and we need more women producing that are getting the recognition and getting the support. So
Yeah, it's some like really sadly low percentage of women producers actually. I want to even say it's like less than 4% of all producers or something like that.
Yeah,
It's
there are
like,
some astonishing
It's lower than 10%. It's like absolutely like whoa, like this. Yeah, I think it's kind of like we've been saying. It's like this thing of normalizing people in these roles that aren't just men in these roles. And when we did our meetups last year, it was a thing where it was actually really great getting professionals in the room with non-binary, female-identifying youth, people from, I guess, many different walks of life, and just showing like, hey, look, here's this person that's in this position, and like, you could do this, rather than it being a thing where you automatically, as a woman, or
yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but as a non-binary person as well, like, you probably, you doubt yourself before you believe you can, and it's like that. I think shedding these things that you're born with actually as a woman into like actually like, no, I can do this. And I think it was really great for us to kind of share that cross section of professionals and people that are kind of like thinking about getting into that area. And I think it's just generally though about normalizing these roles across the board, not just in music, across the board. And
It's like for the London show,
we
we got our booking agent to come join us to be one of the people who would lead, one of the speakers. And her name is Adele Slater at Coda, and she's
amazing.
Adele is the
the
best.
bomb.
She is
And
the
she's
bomb.
incredible, and she's worked so hard, and she's such an amazing human being. And what she does, there's a reason why we've also been able to play so many shows, because of also her.
Yeah.
And like the whole
How
team behind
badass Adele
us is so
is.
great. And it was great for us to be able to ask her story in front of like a large group of youth that maybe also wanted to get into booking.
Yeah.
And how even like for bands, how did you get into this? And having her share her story of how like one thing led to another, and then suddenly like she's this amazing booking agent. And then afterwards, when I spoke to her and thanked her for having shared her story, and she was like, I've never spoken about that before.
Wow.
And I was like, it was such an incredible journey, and like I also just wanted to hear the story because we're working together, but to be able to share it with loads of people who can find it inspiring, it's really special.
I think maybe a lot of us have had our struggles or have really had to fight, but we don't feel like we can openly talk about that.
Yeah.
And I think hopefully that will be a change in future, but because more of us need to talk
It's
about
like it's
it.
okay and we should. Yeah.
Because that won't.
Rather than like, oh, do I dare? Is it my place?
Yeah, is it
Yeah.
gonna
Is it doubt yourself?
is it going to impact my opportunities and my work in the future? Is normally the thing that goes on in most people's minds. I think is this going to limit me or my opportunities? Do I seem to be that person that's just whinging about one?
Yeah.
So your team itself, now that you're working with, have you got some really great people that you're working with?
Yeah,
I
we're
mean,
we're
you?
so fortunate.
Yeah,
We
we've
have
got
a
a really
wonderful
amazing
team.
team.
We were quite when we met you then at Snarewaves.
Long time ago,
Then we didn't really have. We were quite a unit.
It was just the three of us for a long time.
Just us three.
I think,
Tiny
where did I
unit.
see you? It was in one of the youth hostels on...
Yeah, I think you're at Loft.
Yeah, it was in Loft. That's exactly where it was. And that was super early days. I know
Wow,
it was.
yeah.
So it's like that.
Hey, I've been a fan for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm not just here now they're big, all right? I've been
you
here for
were-
a long
You
time.
were here before the drums.
Yeah,
before the
yeah.
Before we got a
Drum
drum
babes. Drums are over there. Yeah. Hey, I knew you before you were signed. But like that's why you talk up, like you say, oh, why are you saying all these nice things at the beginning of the interview? But look how far you have come. And not only
it's such
unit. the TM, the management. But that's what we did. Like at the beginning, like when we were still like crafting our sound and sort of wanting to know what this was.
Yeah, figuring out what a deal was.
We basically just did the most DIY. I've never heard of another band do all what we did.
No.
Like I thought we weren't DIY. I thought this is how most bands. Basically, we went on mega buses all around Europe and Canada to play the most randomest like house shows that we didn't even, like when we got there we weren't even sure if there were people there, but then also shows that were really fun.
Yeah.
But some really sketchy and others that were great.
But you know what? You had the passion.
But I think that actually
Yeah.
was quite formative. I think it
very
You were very
formative.
proactive.
Yeah, we know you
Like,
can
like
get through
that.
any situation.
And also we knew how to say no as well.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
then when we started we needed help when we had done that for X amount of time, and then we wanted to sort of expand and get a team around us, and we also like started recording our first EP at Alice's house, and she produced it, and then suddenly people started hearing what we sounded like because we didn't have anything out.
You said there was like maybe
online.
one
Yeah, we
track
just
it
been
was
playing
like-
live shows.
We didn't
Yeah,
understand you need to
yeah.
release something
We
to
had this,
tour.
like, live
We thought you would
reputation.
tour first and then release.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
chaotic live reputation.
Didn't you like once describe us as like a feral band?
Yeah.
I
That's
love
maybe
that.
we were
Feral, love it.
We were once
We
feral.
weren't really part of any
before we
kind of
entered the industry.
scene particularly, or
Yeah,
like
but that's
we just knew like
amazing.
drag
We were
queens and
all-
artists.
Hey, you've made your own scene. You needed to make it because it wasn't right for you elsewhere. You
I
didn't fit into any
Actually, to be
category.
honest, I didn't feel like we did fit into any
We
category.
just
I felt like we
did.
fitted way more with like the artsy parties and the
Yeah.
drag bars.
Yeah.
Like that was just more our vibe. And but
But it's
basically,
been amazing getting to know bands and like the love that you share with another
Yeah,
band, like the
it's
kind of
wonderful.
understanding of like what this is, what it is to live this way. It's like
I think
Yeah,
it is
that's
always
a-
a
that's
stuff
a
and the
friendship.
respect.
It's a meeting of
Mm.
minds, isn't it?
Mm.
it's
Because
also
it's
like
a certain
really fast
lifestyle.
love. It's like you have all this love for people you only meet at festivals, really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
like you get each other.
It's like
You're
two families just
Like, did you
absolutely
just finish
love
your
art
marathon?
together.
So
All
who-
these little family units.
So when obviously loads of bands this weekend I'm like seeing it. Some of them are Why Not, and then the next day they're at Truck
Yeah.
Festival, and then the next day they're at Kendal Calling.
and they'll all be hanging out and
Who
they'll
do
be in
you
love.
see that you're like, yes, I'm
Queensy!
Queensy
Queensy!
are here.
Guess who I'm chatting to
They're
tomorrow?
here.
Queensy!
Okay, you need to give me some
Here.
code. What conversation do I need to say to them? And they're going to be like, you know, you know.
I don't think I know anything. but
Come
good.
on, give me an inside line.
I'm trying.
Ask them how the healing was at Glastonbury.
The healing.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to remember to ask them how the healing
Ash
was.
how her massage was at Glastonbury.
Oh, can you write that down? I'm going to remember.
How was your massage at Glastonbury?
Sounds like she
I
had
thought they
a
were
fabulous
I thought they were playing
time.
today.
It's tomorrow. It's tomorrow here.
Oh, we were so excited to see them.
Well, sorry to shatter your illusions. Before I let you go, we need to know, back in the studio, well, writing.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yes.
are we talking about a new album next year, maybe 2020?
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean there has to be. I don't
Maybe.
want to wait.
2020.
Alice is like, maybe.
I don't wanna
Perfect
wait too
vision.
long.
It's coming.
Basically, what I did learn,
Hurry!
what we learned from touring without releasing anything and thinking that was normal, and going on mega buses all around. It'd be nice to release something so people know what to expect. But I think now, basically, the reason why you put out albums is so you can tour.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
it's
want to
all
put out an
about the
album
live
so we
show.
can tour more.
So you
Hit
know,
the road again!
if you're releasing an album, there's going to at least be a 3-year tour after it.
I
May-
hope so.
maybe,
I'm
yeah.
hoping maybe like a decade-long tour.
Yeah, we'll just tour forever.
Fuck.
Never come home.
I've been really enjoying actually not just like writing and staying in London.
Sometimes-
seeing family and
Sometimes I'm like, I'm so glad to be here, and sometimes I'm like, I so wish I was on
Like,
tour.
you'll be like doing the
This
wish
last week, I've really
You'll be
been
like,
missing
oh my God.
touring. This
Yeah.
last week.
Well, I mean, we have played like 15 festivals this summer.
I know.
Okay, where's the
That's like
dream?
nothing compared
That's
to
nothing.
I remember talking to an artist, and they were like, "Oh, so many festivals during summer." I was like, "I think like 18. It's not much." And they're like, "It's not much." And I just realized like, just because we just literally played every other day last year,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that fit 18 for one summer.
You could be the hardest working band
You
out
could.
there, I reckon, live band.
We could.
I think it's
Oh,
it's
it's
arguable.
been said.
It's a good argument. A ball point, I think. There,
I'm just
maybe.
excited until.
Stop spreading that around. We're not going to argue with you on
I feel like we've been spreading that around.
I think we've been heavily hinting at it.
It was
spreading that
funny,
around
though.
with our work ethos.
It was quite funny though, coming off like a year and a half of touring, and then coming back and to meet your friends and family, and realize you don't have to. I think there was like maybe 3 months until our next show. And I was,
Yeah, it was so weird. It was so weird.
What did you do? And you're like, what the fuck? What do I do?
I went.
You're like, I have to relearn Netflix and chill.
You have to
Do you know what I
relearn
mean?
how to
I
look
didn't want
after
to watch
yourself.
any Netflix
Cook.
after
Yeah,
touring.
exactly.
Yeah, learn how to look after yourself.
Remember to wash your clothes, tidy your room, wash
Eat
your
meals
plates.
on your own.
Remember to eat meals at the right times of the day.
I went to Bali
That's
for a
not
month.
work.
Go to sleep.
You
And
had
I-
exactly
Yeah,
the
and I
right idea.
read Eat, Pray, Love.
How did it right?
I got heavy into painting, and I was produced a podcast. I was just like,
Oh yeah.
What's
hardcore
the
work.
podcast?
Polyester podcast. So Polyester is a publication in London that is really close to our hearts. Our friend Ione is editor-in-chief. It's amazing. If you don't know about Polyester, just check it out. But they have a really great
Yeah,
podcast
polyester
now.
are great. You would love polyester.
Okay, I'm gonna
wait,
check it
yeah,
out. I'm gonna check it
yeah.
out.
Polyester.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've heard it.
Their
Yeah,
Instagram
yeah.
is great as well
Wow.
if you're on there.
I'm gonna love.
It's like that was the best thing about moving to London was
Yeah.
Polyester.
That
And that
community.
community.
really
Yeah, well,
embraced
yeah,
us,
yeah.
actually,
Polyester is our family.
Okay.
Ione
Yeah.
is our mother.
Yes, yeah.
It's
She's
a
our mother.
artistic kind of group of people that have worked with us in videos and shoots and whatever.
Oh, so
all come
more-
from
So okay, really
around that
inspiring then.
community.
Oh, that's really good when you've
So
got so
fun.
many different creatives around you that can
Mm.
support and give you ideas
Yeah.
and help
Yeah.
you develop and move.
Yeah, no, it
move
feels like a
forward.
real kind of creative community
And
that
you
you have in
never-
London. It's really special.
And you never leave art school. It's so great.
Yeah.
Just continues on in
Art
life.
school forever.
Art school forever.
I like that. I like the fact that you're always learning.
Yeah.
This is our attitude. It's like
Yeah.
always learning, always growing.
Yeah, it's never a mistake. It's a learning opportunity.
It is so wise.
If you
So
get it wrong, it's a
wise.
reason to get it right next
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well you
Yeah.
may discover
When-
that you didn't want to do it anyway.
When you know better, you do better.
Oh!
And on that note, goddesses, rewind.
That's from Maya Angelou.